need a podcast guest who is just as crazy as I am. Thinking.
I thought you were about to be like, I need a gay. And I noticed that this woman is taking pictures. Because there was like enough people around to where this would have been labeled as a scene. I just want you to know, I was being really cool for the last 2 hours.
This is my podcast. Hello, welcome to the manic world of Jaci Terj. I'm Jaci Terjeson, stand-up comedian and manic lady. And this podcast is all about bringing in my fellow stand-up comedians, some of my best friends, to talk about times that we've completely lost it. Because I am the most unsteady person I know. So hearing other people's stories about how crazy they have gotten will make me feel a little more normal. So welcome to the pod. Today, one of my favorites all time. He is a prolific stand-up comedian in the Seattle scene. He's the cream of the crop, ladies and gentlemen. He's the creator of My Straight Friends, a very funny show that is so successful. It's now a monthly show at the Comedy Store, and he's hilarious. So give it up for the very funny Ricci Armani.
Oh my God, hi.
Hi. Thank you for doing my pod.
Oh my God, no, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love doing podcasts. I don't know why. Yeah, it's like the contentification of just friends hanging out, and I think that there's something so special about that.
I do too. I'm like, how can I monetize my friendships?
How can I monetize my time, my friendships, my conversation? Every word that comes out of my mouth is $1. Like,
if you're smart.
If you can make it happen.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll just see what happens.
I was racking my brain. I was like, okay, I need a podcast guest who is just as crazy as I am. Thinking.
I thought you were about to be like, I need a gay. I need a gay person. I need a gay person.
I like to start this podcast out with inclusivity, okay?
And also, I'd just like to say we're filming this on Duwamish land. And no, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Land acknowledgement. We'll have the correct land acknowledgement in the comments.
Yeah, the muckle shoots down that way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we do have a land acknowledgement. Wow. Just starting me, like canceling me from the get-go.
We're acknowledging.
We are acknowledging. That's true. That's cool. What have you been up to lately?
God, what have I been up to? Trying not to cry. I think that's like a huge one. I have been trying to go back to the gym. A lot of trying here. Successfully doing the show My Straight Friends. Successfully working part-time in retail because unfortunately bills don't pay themselves.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great place to meet unsteady people as well.
Yeah. Yes, it is definitely a place where you see things happen, which we'll get into that. That. I have stories about that. But what else have I been up to? I'm just a boy trying to live,
relatable.
Still trying to say that I'm a boy. Like, I'm only 32 and a half years old, Jackie. Okay?
Oh my God, I can't believe you're so much older than me. So young.
What about you? What have you been up to? What's going on?
Just working.
Oh, I'm gonna say this too. Like, this is I'm the first one.
You are my inaugural guest.
Yeah.
So you better not fuck it up.
No, I wouldn't ever do that for you. I'm sorry about the land acknowledgements.
No, we'll talk about that off camera.
But yeah, so what have you been up to? I mean, like, you're doing this. You're doing well. You're killing it out in stand-up world.
This is so nice. This is why I wanted a pod. I was like, I definitely prepped Ricci before this, and I was like, you need to say at least 10 nice things about me. What
too? Yeah.
I've been working a lot, and I have, as you know, I have 3 children, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Children are so important to the future.
They truly are the future.
Yeah. Michael Jackson said it best. Oh, wait, whoops.
You're bringing up land acknowledgement, and now you're bringing up Michael Jackson?
You know what's so funny? You might want to cut this one. But I was at a wedding and people were playing Michael Jackson at the wedding. I was like, isn't it so cool that even though he's been canceled for all those horrible things he did, we still dance at weddings to his music?
With our family.
Yeah.
It's like the little flower girls oh my God, I love this song.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. I'm like, what a monster.
Yeah, seriously. And then ends, and then it's like, it's the remix to Ignition. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's my favorite!
Yeah, I know. I'm sad I'll never be able to bump that in the summertime again.
It's so good, but it is a private at-home song.
Yeah, it is.
I love the hesitation in you. You're like, did you want to record that? Or no, I will start singing that, and then I'll be like, I have to switch it up because I don't want to sing that. So then I'm like, you're my butterfly, sugar. I feel like those are like equal earworms. You know what I mean? Do you know that song?
I do know that song.
Probably equally problematic.
I don't think there was a song that wasn't problematic in that era.
That's true. That's a good point.
Like, who is Nelly Furtado not problematic? I feel like she's the only one.
She wants to be a bird. She wants to fly away.
And she's a man-eater.
She's a man-eater. We love.
And she's promiscuous.
We love to see it. Oh, my God. We love to see it. She was a woman before her time.
Really? Ahead of it. So what's going on? Talk to me.
Okay, so listen. I want to know. Okay, part of the reason I want to start this podcast is although I am an unsteady person and quite manic, I am actually kind of emotionally constipated.
How do you mean? Talk to me about let's hang on, let's step backwards.
Yeah.
What does unsteady mean to you?
Unsteady. Well, okay, I'm highly ADHD, which who isn't these days, but actually, like it affects my life in huge ways. So I hate it when people are like, "Oh my God, everybody's a little bit ADHD," and I'm like, did you forget everything in your life and watch it crumble? Because, you know, so I'm just like, I feel bad sometimes because my kids are like, what mommy are we going to get today? They love it. It keeps everything fun and exciting.
Keeps them on their toes.
Yeah. But my 7-year-old will be like, Mom, are you on your period?
Did she really ask that?
Yes.
Oh, he asked that?
Woke
oh
boys.
God.
And then my 9-year-old will be like, no, I think it's because she doesn't have her meds right now.
I kind of love it, though.
Like, okay.
They're just sneaking you medicine.
We think this podcast is exciting, but can you imagine the podcast my children are going to have? Talking about their childhood. I mean, that's entertainment.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's get that going. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of up and down and all over the place. I'm either like manic in a fun way, or I'm like completely unmotivated, staring at a wall all day. And I'm like, you know.
I feel you on that. I don't know if I don't want to compare like our things, but I'm like, I have those like days where I'm just like, I could just stare at this wall for hours and I would be fine. You know?
What's on your wall?
What isn't on my wall? You know? Yeah. Pots, pans, pasta. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just, life is hard.
Life is hard.
And I'm tired of it.
Yeah, life is hard. But it's also, I'm like at the point where I'm like, I just need to make everything fun because I'm tired of it not being fun, and that's like one of my number one things.
I love that.
I want.
I'm gonna make that my New Year's resolution, actually.
Yeah.
Because I am having a ton of fun, but when I'm not having fun, I'm not having fun.
Yes, and it's stupid, and you're like, this is dumb because it's not fun. And so I told my kids, I'm like, listen, I saw this recently on a scientific document called Instagram. It said if you smile, your brain doesn't know the difference.
So I will tell you, I used to do that. Yeah. I used to do that when I was like going through like serious bouts of depression.
Yeah.
And I would force myself to smile and it would like kind of help.
Yeah.
But I also believe in like the power poses.
Ooh, power poses are huge.
I think that like that is like a super real thing.
Yeah.
And then also just like, I used to do, God, what is it called? This is so gay. I used to do like those manifestations.
He's allowed to say
I can say that. I can say that. I can say a lot of things. But I used to do those manifestation things or like daily affirmations. Yes. And I would just be like, you're fucking killing it in the mirror every day.
Oh my God. That makes me so happy just to picture you doing that.
Yeah.
Do it to the camera just once.
You're fucking killing it. I think. Probably. I'm doing good. We're doing good. Yeah. We're doing good.
That sounds less affirming and more like crumbling. We're killing it. We're fine. It's going to be okay.
Serious. We're killing it right now.
That's good.
Thanks.
I believed it more. It was more believable. Yeah. So, and then I heard my son tell my other son that, and I was like, oh my God, it's soaking in. But then when you are mad, you just look freaking crazy because I'm like,
Are you quiet mad?
I'm slam cupboards mad.
I don't know what that means. I need you to, let's dive into the lore of this.
So if I get mad, I will, I'm better at it now, but I would say things that I regret, or I'll like go behind like a door and be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So I'm a huge avoider and with conflict and stuff. So I'll just like keep it down, and then I'll get it out in passive ways.
Okay. Okay.
But
yeah.
I'm not mad at you.
I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never know.
I would never be mad at you.
Good.
I really can't see a reason for me to be mad at you. You're like one of the sweetest people. Yeah.
That's number 2 on the compliments. No, so like what I was saying before, I'm emotionally constipated. So I don't really get mad that often because if I'm mad in the moment, my ADHD, I literally forget. I will literally forget.
That's so cool.
So I'm like the most forgiving person in the world.
I literally was just talking to my best friend last night about how fucking petty we are. Like we hold grudges. We are grudge holders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it drives me a little bit. Like I don't love that I'm this way, but it's like it's a part of me that I've accepted.
I think is like way. I love that about you.
Yeah. I will hold on to a grudge for years and like not even give it a second thought.
And it's like the littlest thing.
Kind of. Yeah. Like I recently had someone slight me here in Seattle, and I was like, oh, like it was a comic, and I was like,
name names.
I was like, I'm never booking this person ever again. Like, not that I was to begin with, really, but I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna book this person. I don't have anything nice to say about them anymore. Yeah. And like, if anyone asks, I'll tell them the honest truth. Because before I was kind of like, oh, they're okay. Like, I would only give them, like 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. But now I'm like, they're not worth it. Don't book them. Like,
that's so funny. And he's gonna start a burn list so that they don't get booked anywhere. Yeah. I'm like, they are a fugly slut. Do not book them.
I'm gonna put it out on all of the Facebook pages and Instagrams.
I love it. Yeah. Like start a Reddit, but it's like anonymous.
Yes.
Portland did that recently. I'm going on a tangent.
That's really toxic.
Portland had like the Portland scene, who I love. Shout out to Portland. They had this thing where you could like anonymously submit like people you have beef with. And I think it started with good intentions. And then they would post these things, and it got like blown up. It was crazy. And I loved watching it from far, to be honest.
I love other people's drama from far away.
Oh, love it.
I love it. I think it's one of the few pleasures in life that we have as adults.
It fuels you, right?
Yeah. I love nothing more than when someone is just like posting something online, and I'm just like, I don't know any of these people. Yeah. And I want to be invested in their drama.
Scroll. Yeah, and then you've like gone to all of their families' Facebook pages. Like their great aunt's name. And
if I have time, I'll do a deep dive. Because I love it.
I'll do it even when I don't have time. Let's be real. My kids are like, I'm hungry. I'm like, I have to know what Nana said next. It's like family drama. But so sometimes I will, if I'm like, wow, I'm really out of touch with my emotions, I will literally be like, tomorrow, I'm going to watch something that will make me cry intentionally, because I'm like, it's like taking Miralax. I'm like, I have to get this out of my system.
I used to try to do this because I got so jaded in my life at one point that I couldn't cry when I saw something sad. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. Yeah. Like I specifically remember I was watching this movie. It was called Call Me By Your Name. It's a really classically gay movie. And there's like a scene in it that's like very heartbreaking. And at the end of the movie, I was like, I think I was supposed to cry. And so I like started figuring, I was like, I need to get back in touch with my emotions. I need to figure this out.
What do you think? Why do you think you got to that place where you weren't crying?
I think it was just because I was like, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it was a romance movie. Okay. And I think I was just like in a place where I just like, I wasn't really dating, and I had gone through so many like failed attempts at relationships that I was just like, fuck it, I don't need a man. And then like it fully evolved into this like hyper independence.
Yeah.
That slowly became this like almost like cut off emotion.
Yeah.
In me. Like I even remember telling people, I was like, oh, I have a heart made of stone or something like that. Like I'm a stone cold bitch. Like and truly I believe that to the point where it was like, oh, I don't have a lot of empathy right now, and I need to work on that. I'm better now. I'm better now.
That's great.
Yeah.
What made you better? What made you feel like you opened that part up again?
I think just being vulnerable again. Like just start talking to people more about like my thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas. And like that is what did that for me. And this was like probably in my mid-20s. And it's gotten better. And especially after having like my boyfriend, like I definitely am much better at being in touch with my emotions. Because even when we started dating, I was like, oh yeah, like I was like fully gaslighting myself into like thinking I didn't like him at first. And then it just like, I was like, oh no, like it's working. I have emotions, I have feelings. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Now I'm more emotionally regulated all around.
Yeah.
And I'm in a better place right now. Yeah.
That's
I don't
great.
need therapy.
No, what? Therapy?
I'm good for now.
That's cool. That's really cool. So you were like intentional. You were like, I need to like share my feelings.
I was very intentional about it. But I also had like a very like intentional, like emotional growth moment. I don't know if you know this, but the reason I got into stand-up comedy is because this all connects, is because I had to do outpatient one time because I got a DUI in Washington and I had to do 2 years for outpatient. And that was like
outpatient therapy?
Yeah. Because like I relax, everyone. Everyone has one. Everyone's driven drunk. Okay. And it's not cool. It's not good. It's a very bad thing. Don't do it. I don't condone it.
We don't condone it on this podcast.
But I blew like a .081, which is basically like a beer and a half.
Okay.
And
but still illegal?
Still wildly illegal.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So so much so that they were like, we can throw you in jail for 90 days. Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And I had to get out of it by doing this like 2-year-long like outpatient treatment where they were like, we're going to talk about your alcoholism. And I was like, I'm not an alcoholic though.
Right.
But like, that's where I really started, like in that group is where I started like learning how to like cope with my emotions, deal with my anger. And then like I started talking about like, here are some things that I want to do with my life. You know, like I have aspirations to be a stand-up comic. And like, there was this guy in that group that was like, you're really funny and you make a bunch of jokes during group meeting when you're not supposed to. Let's take you to an open mic and get you out of that.
No way.
Yeah.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Were they a comic?
No, he was just some guy who liked going to open mic comedy. And he took me to my first open mic and I watched it with him. And then like after that, he was just like, yeah, you should try it. And so the next week I got up on stage for the first time.
And then when you went back to group, he wasn't there because he was actually an angel.
Yeah, basically.
And they were like, we don't know, Brian. Nobody, what are you talking about?
Yeah, basically.
You were touched by an angel.
It was like a divine
illegally.
intervention.
No.
Like, yeah, I think so.
Yes.
If you could touch my backside, that'd be nice.
Oh,
okay?
snap.
And it's funny too, because like I definitely did think he was like cute, but I was like, are you cute or are we just like trauma bonding from the group therapy thing? Like
that's an important distinction. Wow, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
How supportive.
Yeah.
When you first started that group though, were you like, I feel like if somebody told me I had to go to therapy, I would be like, just out of spite, I'm not getting anything out of this.
No, I very much treated it like if I have to be here, I might as well just like hear what they have to
God,
say.
That's so healthy.
Because I was also like, this was in my lowest point where I was like really feeling depression. Like there were days where I would come home from work and I would just lay on the floor of my bedroom and stare at the ceiling and just think like, if I got hit by a bus, like I don't think I would care. Yeah, because I was like just getting to the point where like I had like 1 quarter left to like finish my associate's degree, which I was working so hard to do because I was working full time and going to school.
Oh my God, college is so depressing.
It's so depressing. And so then this happened and I was like set back thousands of dollars. I got another part-time job. So I was going to school, working a part-time job and going to like this group counseling and working a full-time job.
Oh my God.
So like literally every day was just like from morning to night, I had something to do. And I was just so depressed and I hated everything. And I was like, I mean, I guess this group therapy might be a way to get out of this.
Right. Sounds like it was perfect timing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it worked out in a way where I was like, okay, I guess this was helpful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. And then and stand-up comedy helped you kind of get out of that.
Yeah. In fact, stand-up comedy, once I started doing it, I was like, I got my associates and I was like, I'm not finishing college. Like, I'm going to do this instead. Like, I knew very early on in my, like, open miking days that this was, like, what I was going to end up doing.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Right?
Same. Oh, for sure.
Didn't you feel it, like, the first time you got on stage, you were like, this is right?
Yes. I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
And it's weird, too, because, like, I also realized, like, not everyone has this. Not everyone gets that moment where they're like, this is for me.
Right.
Yeah. And
so special.
It is special. And it helped me kind of just like even out everything. To some degree. I do think I'm facing my own challenges now. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it feel like it made like who you are and like the beginning part of your life make sense more when you're like, oh, this is all kind of for stand-up?
Yes.
In a way, yeah.
It really explained like my need for attention as a child and my need to like make people laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I always have been that friend who would, like, make an inappropriate joke or whatever at some point in the night. And, like, it validated me. Because, like, before that, I was, like, always kind of this, like, life of the party person.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, have you ever watched, like, The Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Yes.
There's, like, a scene where she's, like, going to all these parties and people are laughing at her. I was like, I related to that.
Yeah.
I was that
Everybody's,
person.
like, facing her and she's, like, kind of almost making her own show out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was very much me for every party and event that I went to in all of my 20s. And until I got into stand-up comedy, I was like, oh, this makes sense now. I'm just like, I'm sick. I'm mentally ill and need to be famous and need to have attention.
This is why we're such good friends.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was talking about this with Joe the other day, one of our friends, and I was saying, like, it is, like, a disease. Like, it's such a disease to, like, need this attention all the time, this immediate validation. But it's a disease I'm here for. It's chronic. Yeah.
For sure. Oh, my God. Just the dopamine that you get, the high, the adrenaline, all of it. It's addictive.
There's nothing else like it.
Yeah. I could never do anything else.
I don't ever want to do anything else.
I like similarly got into stand-up because I had just had my second kid.
Oh.
And just like you. No, I said similarly. Just like you, I had just had my second baby. And and I had done improv. And I was like 8 months pregnant at my last improv show. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. There's like 3 people in the audience. I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I did like a dojo and I met somebody there and they're like, there's a class happening at the comedy club. I'm doing it. You should totally do it. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted, it's like been on my bucket list. Always wanted to try stand up. Also, improv is super fun and great, but like, I would like to just not depend on anyone else on stage.
I fully agree with that.
Right?
Yeah. I've always thought I could do improv, but then I'm like, I don't want to rely on anyone. But keep going. Sorry.
No, for sure. And then like you get all the glory. You know, it's like, why am I splitting the check? The applause check.
Yes.
If you get what I'm saying. And then my friend was like, I told her about it, and she was like maybe like a week later, she was like, hey, your class, the class starts on Monday, and I've already paid for it.
Wow.
And that's like how I started.
Oh my God.
Maybe it was the same angel.
Maybe God was like, they need to be friends.
Yes.
These two manic bitches need to be friends.
He's like, the world will have a lot less damage if we put them together. That's so cool. So what if we're talking about losing it, like just losing it, it can be in a good way, it can be in a bad way. And we were kind of talking about this before the pod because you had said I told you I wanted to hear a story about you losing it, and you were like racking your brain. You said,
so you were like, let's talk about losing it, good or bad. And I was like, is there a good one? Because like me personally, when I lose it, like I don't think it's ever been fun for anyone. Like, okay, I'll give you the most recent example of when I lost it. So like I work part-time in retail because like I just have to. Like I used to do corporate stuff, but like, you know, traveling as much as I do, you can't do anything else. So I I had just gotten back from doing shows in LA, and I was like working, and I'm so exhausted all the time between like working the day job, doing stand up at night, traveling, prepping for the shows. Like it's never ending.
Right.
So I was on the sales floor, and I noticed that this woman is taking pictures of me with her phone. She's taking pictures of me and my coworkers. And I walk up to her. I'm like, hey, can I help you? And she just gives me this dirty look and walks away. And I said, can I help you? And she was like, what's your name? And I was like, you don't need to know my name. You do not need to know my name. You can tell me if you need help and I will help you. Other than that, you can keep on scooting.
Oh my
and
God.
She
so
was like,
escalation from like 0 to 100.
0 to 100 because I'm exhausted. And I know I know what this old white woman is doing. She's not even that old. She's probably like in her 40s. Like she's not that old at all. So much older than me. So much older than both of us. She's ancient, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but she's going on about, well, I wanted help, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, fuck this. And so I yelled at my manager. I'm like, hey, this lady has some kind of problem. Can you come over here and talk to her? And like,
was there like a ton of people around?
There was like enough people around to where this would have been labeled as a scene. Yeah. And I'm fully aware at this point. I'm like, oh, we have to commit now. Like, because it's like, you know, you can't just back down when you're yelling at some stranger who's taking pictures of you.
Right.
So the manager comes over and she's like, hey, what's going on? And this woman's like, well, I wanted help and no one said hi to me. And I was like, and I started laughing at her. I started laughing at this woman. And my manager's like, go to the back, go to the back. And so I go to the back. My other manager's like, hey, it sounds like something's going on out there. What'd you do? And so I was like, well, this lady was taking pictures of us. And I was like, oh, I forgot to mention that to the other manager. So I walk back out the back room door and I shout from across the store. I'm like, hey, did she tell you that she was taking pictures of us, that crazy bitch? And then, like, I hear the woman, yes, I was taking pictures, but I'll delete them. I apologize. I was like, no, that's fucking weird. You're weird.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so then, like, I had finally, like, calmed down. And my managers were like, hey, so you can't do that. And I was like, no, I work way too hard. I work way too much. I don't make enough money for some old white bitch to be taking pictures of me in a store that I work at saying that I'm not working. I'm too fucking tired.
Is that why she said she was taking pictures? Because you weren't working?
She was trying to take pictures of us to show that we weren't working. And it's like, this is like a common thing. I've seen this all over the internet. Old white women, usually, that's who it usually is taking pictures of like,
I will never be one.
Poor customer service workers just trying to do their fucking job. And just like, they're not helping me. They're not saying hi to me. They're not stocking shelves. They're not moving their bodies. They're sitting down. Like, and it's stupid stuff.
So entitled.
It's so entitled. And it's just like, bitch, I make minimum wage. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care about your fucking problems. Yeah. And like so my manager's like, we have to write you up. And I was like, write me up. Go ahead, do it. Write me up. And I want to let you know right now, if that happens again, I will do it again. Yeah. And like, and they know, like, and I fully lost it in that moment. I came home. I left work early and my boyfriend, I didn't even leave work early because I was like, I need the fucking money. I need the fucking money. So I stayed my full shift just pissed.
Oh my God. You're like, if there's another person who needs to take a picture of me, it's fine because I have to get this money. Okay?
I'm already on a rampage. Let's just get your money. And if someone else fucking fucks with you, like, fine, whatever. Let's get them too. But yeah, so that was like the last time I like lost it. In a fun way. Right. In a fun and exciting way.
Yes, so exciting.
Yeah, the last time I lost it in a not cool way is I came home
Wait.
Go ahead, sorry. I'm getting ahead.
I just want to know what happened to the lady.
Oh, okay, so then...
turns out she is the photographer for SNL. No, she's like some very famous photographer.
She actually, so she told the manager, she's like, I used to work at this store in corporate. Or she was like, I'm a corporate employee. And I was like, no, the fuck she wasn't.
Oh my God.
And they were like, well, we don't know. And I was like, that's right, you don't fucking know.
You like look at her shoes, you like, no, sorry, you didn't work here.
And also it's just like, if you worked here, you know that that's like not appropriate behavior.
Right.
You know that.
If you're like a person in society, you know it's not appropriate behavior.
Yeah. So I was like, she doesn't fucking work here.
Yeah.
And then apparently someone was like, no, she used to work here. She was retired. And I was like, I don't give a fuck then. That old bitch should be knitting then. Right. I don't know why she's here. Yeah. But like, either way, I never saw her again. Never saw her again. Wow. I did. There was one woman too at At the place that I work at.
Yeah. Northwest Track.
Northwest Track and Field. Yeah. Where he
drives the trams. It's fine. He is the buffalo dresser. He dresses them every day.
Look,
okay.
I'll just say this, actually. I don't want to go into like a whole deep dive about it, but like I will say this. There is a lot more entitled white women. That's essentially who it is. It's a lot of like entitled white women who don't have a job.
Yeah.
Who have like a ton of money for whatever reason. And Jackie, have you been harassing me?
You're not describing me.
But like there's so many of them who, if I saw them in public outside of the store, I would absolutely go up to them and punch them in the throat.
Oh my God.
For the way that they have talked to me. And I that's not violence against anyone. It's violence against people who have done violence unto me.
Right, right.
I'm just getting you back.
As you wish. Do unto others as they have done unto you. Yeah. I think is the golden rule.
I will say it is mostly women, but there's a few men that I've crossed where I'm like, I will punch you in the fucking throat if I see you in the wild.
It's so funny because it is the opposite for me where, like, with stand-up specifically, it is older white men who will come up to me after shows and feel so entitled, not to take my picture, but to touch me.
That drives me nuts.
It's crazy.
Don't touch me. Don't put your hand on my butt.
You?
You can ask if you can hug me. That's fine.
Oh.
But don't just... Jackie, I had a man after a show that I did recently, and older, you know, he was like, so you're Filipino, huh? You don't look Filipino. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, most Filipinos, they have different noses. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess like mine isn't as like flat as like other Filipinos. And he went, we just gotta, and I was like, I have to go. I don't want to fucking talk to you.
Where is the social awareness in this? That is insane.
No, it's crazy the things people do and say to you after shows. And like that in itself should be a mental breakdown. But again, we're sick.
Oh my God.
Sick.
For real.
We'll stand there and take it.
I try to like make myself like the power stance, like inaccessible and stuff, but it never fails. There's always one man who comes up to me. The last one they rubbed my shoulder like he did this, and he was giving me like advice on my set. First of all, thank you, but no thank you. I'm good. And then it's a lot of back rubbing. And I'm like, you are not my father. God. It's so much back rubbing. I've had shoulder rubs from older men. It's like, and then I did have one man come up to me and he straight up just came up to give me a bear hug and I shoved him off me and I go, I don't want to hug you. And he was like, no, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, bye.
It's the parasocial relationship. They think that we're friends.
Oh, for sure.
They think we're friends, but I'm like, I don't know you. You were just a face in a dark room.
Exactly.
Which is a different scenario in a gay club, by the way. Yeah, that's a completely different thing.
I guess they should stop doing all my material about how I love old man touching me. Maybe that's what's throwing them off.
You know, you're basically asking for it.
I am. It's the way I dress. It's my turtlenecks. It's my full coverage. They're like, she needs it. She wants it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, that was my last Menty B. Yeah. I just heard that term on TikTok and I'm like, I'm taking that.
It makes me want like a Tic Tac, a Menty B.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds like a Mentos.
I just think it just sounds like a cutesy thing.
It is cute.
Yeah. I haven't had a Mento in a maker. I miss
the
those
Fresh Maker. Yeah. That would be a really great thing to pop after a meltdown. Let's be real.
What do you do to cure your meltdowns?
Oh, my meltdowns. I usually hide myself away. Mm-hmm. And then when anybody tries to bring it up, I get very defensive.
No, it wasn't me.
This is the time on the pod where we get honest with ourselves, even though it's not healthy. No, I'm just like, what? I was fine. No, I wasn't rude. And I'm like laying it on more. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting better about that. So yeah, I don't know. I do just need space. I know that I need like at least 20 minutes to calm down.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
20 minutes is not very long, I feel like.
Really? You think that's pretty good?
I mean, I said earlier, I stay boiling.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an incident 6 months ago now, 5 months ago, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while, and I'm still mad about it.
Okay, let's hear. Let's dish.
So, okay, this is like, I'll give you like the skinnier version of this, but I
Yes.
had a friendship breakup earlier this year.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's sad because it is like a friend that I've been friends with for like years.
We're going to put their picture up here.
Yeah.
Go to the, I'm kidding.
But
Let's see a clip.
we've been friends since middle school.
Okay.
And I think I'm just like at that point in my life too, where it's like, we're clearly all going different places. And we tried way too long to keep this friend group together.
Yeah.
And it's been like me and these 4 other girls since like essentially the beginning of high school, middle school.
Yeah.
We've all been together. But like me and this one girl, we've been friends since forever. And like we've done everything together throughout our 20s.
Yeah.
You know? But I am just like learning. She was like never an empathetic person.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that I was like huge on it either, but I'm there for my friends. Right?
Totally.
So like I was there for her when like her first boyfriend cheated on her. I was there for her when she decided to switch her career path. I was there for her when like, you know.
Her third boyfriend cheated on her.
I mean, okay.
And her fourth.
Girl,
I'm kidding.
girl. She was with the same man for all of her 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the same type of man?
No, the same guy.
Okay.
From like the 20s to like 30s.
Yeah.
Same dude. One dick. And like she was like begging for this engagement ring to the point where I was like, this might not be it. You know?
Right.
Like
if it's not happening.
You shouldn't have to beg for it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And but I supported her through all of that. I was like, if this is what you want to do, I'm here for you. I'll always listen. I'll answer the phone whenever you need me. I'm there. But she was like, that was never reciprocated back to me.
Yeah.
So like when I started stand-up comedy, I had to miss someone's birthday for my first club weekend as a host. And she was like, you're going to miss our friend's birthday for a hobby. Not even her birthday, but another friend in our friend
cardinal
group.
sin.
Yeah. She was like, you're going to miss our friend's birthday for a hobby.
I mean,
Are
wait,
you
the cardinal sin is calling a comedian
a hobbyist.
Yeah, a hobbyist.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear.
You never want to hear that.
No.
Right? Like, and it's like, I get it. Like, okay, this is new, but this is something that's important to me, which I've expressed.
Right.
You know, and she just like didn't resonate. Yeah. And then like when I started dating my boyfriend, she was like, I don't know why you like him. He's not going to ever see you that way. Like, he doesn't love you. Like, you're wasting your time. When I was single, she had this like holier than thou fucking attitude because she was in such a long-term relationship that she was like, Richie, you shouldn't sleep around a lot because no one's going to want to marry you. Yeah.
Red flags.
So many red flags, right? Or like I would sleep with guys in open relationships and she'd be like, it's a waste of time. Those guys will never love you. And it's like, that's not really, I don't need them to love me for more than 45 minutes. Like, that's really all I need, you know? But like, anyways, she ends up breaking it off with her boyfriend or fiance at this point because she finally haggard him down to where he proposed. Breaks it off because he's just dragging his feet to get married. And I have been very encouraging of like, you should go out on a date. And like, I'll admit that like, sometimes my encouragements are like really harsh. Yeah. But it's just because like, I'm like, just go fucking do it.
Right.
Like,
it sounds like you were that type of friend.
I am. I'm very like, just go
Direct.
do it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, you're so mean. You're too hard on me. Why are you always pushing me? And it's just like, we can't be friends anymore. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be your fucking friend. You're annoying as fuck and you have no empathy. You're the worst kind of fucking person. And you're boring.
Okay, so you said all of this to her.
So we had a fight. You
initiated?
She initiated. Or no, actually, I said, so our last exchange was like, she was like, why are you being so pushy about like me dating someone? And eventually I was just like, I'm not going to talk to you about this anymore because like, I love you and I don't want to fight with you right now. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I just never talked to her again.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I left the group chat, never talked to her again. I'm still friends with the other people in the group chat, but
Did she ever reach out?
No. And you know what? Honestly, I think it's for the best. And I've told all of them, I've told all of the people in my group of friends, I'm like, I don't ever want to see her in the same setting that I'm in. Yeah. Like, we're not going to come to the same events. I don't care. I don't want to be friends with her. She sucks as a friend. Yeah. And like, I was even telling my other friends, I was like, here's all the times she's been a bad friend to you. Why are we putting up with this? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally. And she's still doing it because there's people in her life who are enabling it.
Yeah. And like, one of my friends is always like, oh, well, she's working on it. She's getting better. I'm like, it's kind of too late.
Right.
We've been friends since we were children. You can't just decide 20 years later that you want to start working on being a better friend and more empathetic and excited for your friends when they're having wins. Right. When one of my girlfriends announced that she was pregnant, first girl in the group to get pregnant, this girl that I'm no longer friends with goes, well, there goes us hanging out together.
That was her first response?
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. One of our other friends had a really traumatic event happen to her. I call this friend that I'm no longer friends with. I'm like, hey, we need to be there for her today. Like, she's going through it today. And she's like, well, I'm kind of busy today. Can you just call her for me?
That's not the right response.
Right? Like, and it's just like, yeah, the signs were all there. And we just always put up with it. We were like, oh, that's just who she is. Like, whatever, you know. But it's like, I don't have room for people like that in my life anymore.
I think that's totally healthy. So did you lose that on her?
I have before, yeah. And basically she was like kind of pushing me to this where I was like, you should go out and date. Like I always said, like, dating is an art form. Yeah. Like, just, it's a skill. Go practice it. And she's like, that's so condescending. And like, the argument had escalated to a point where I was like, you fucking suck at dating. No one wants to date you because you're fucking boring. Like, you should maybe figure it out. Stop being such a fucking prude. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And so like, that was kind of like the end of it. Yeah. Like, before I was like, we're just not going to talk anymore.
She's on another podcast right now talking about how her old friend said all this stuff to her.
I hope someone listens to it. She's so fucking boring. Like, I don't know what to tell you. She's boring.
Let's bring her out right now.
And, you know, okay, has this ever happened to you? I have tried writing jokes about this.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like I'm bullying.
Yeah.
You know? And like, the audience is like, wow, this guy's kind of a dick, huh?
They're like, is she here right now? Can we like buy her flowers or something? They're like on her side.
You're like, she's on her 13th reason. You need to relax. Like, I don't care.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's definitely happened to me before. But I love it. This is what it's all about for me, because I'm like, I can be so out of touch with my emotions. When I don't know if this is good or bad, but when I see somebody else just Menty be like just releasing unfiltered emotion, I light up.
Do you?
Is that bad?
I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't think, nothing is good or bad. Nothing is good or bad. Everything is healthy.
This is what happened to me recently that made me like feel this way. That really made me like, oh my God, I'm liking this too much. I was at the gym, just like quick brag. And there's this woman in there. I'm like getting ready. I'd finished. I'm like doing my makeup and stuff. And she lost her earpods, and she's like kind of like talking to herself. It's just me and her. She's like, where are they? Where are they? I can't believe that. I can't believe this. And like, it's escalating. I'm like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I'm just like, and she's like, did you see my headphones? And I was like, no. And it's like kind of aggro, like, I didn't take them. And she's like, they were right here. They were right here. I was like, why are you mad at me? I did not take your headphones. And she was like, oh, honey, no. I know. I'm sorry. Because I was like, I don't know. They're probably around here somewhere. She starts losing it, okay? She is like, I can't believe I did this. Like, my life is just like horrible. Like, why is this happening right now? And she's like starting to cry.
And you're enjoying this.
Okay, this podcast is supposed to make me look good, but I feel like it's doing the opposite. No, I have a shift. At first, I'm like on the defense, and I'm like, how can I get out of this? And then when she starts to honestly break down, I go, and this is the mind of a comedian, where you're like, this is like the shitty part of being a comedian, that you can't really understand unless you are one, where you're like, okay, I'm going to see where this goes.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. You're like, can this be funny? Let's just see if there's potential here.
100%. I'm out in the wild. I am observing. I'm looking for characters. I'm looking for her material. But as she starts to be like completely unfiltered, I'm like, yeah, my eyes sparkle, because I feel like that's so rare. Like, I am not here for the bullshit, like filtered life, the Instagram life. I want to see the authentic side of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do. I hate all of the like, or perfect. I'm like, I know you guys are not.
Right.
Actually, I see your life. Yeah.
It's so much more fun and magical, even if it's messy. Like, I like messy.
But I also just think like we'd probably be a healthier world.
Yes.
If we were all
there
just
might be
honest.
more violence. But
I mean, it'll lead us to the purge.
Yeah. But also like then you can like find healthy ways of dealing with it if you let it go, which is where I'm at. I'm like, I have to be in touch with this. Anyway, so she's losing it. Finally, she's like, she's telling me, I like sit down with her at this point because I'm like, you're
like, we're co-regulating. Let's breathe together.
For real. I was like, it's probably here. Let's take a deep breath. I'm like parenting her at that point. She's like way older than me, but like she's like 30 or something. But and she's like, and there's nothing good in my life. Like she's like literally like, you know, on the edge.
Is she like trauma dumping on you at this point?
For sure. And so I was just like, you know, like there's hope, like you're going to be, but she's like, I have ADHD, and she's probably like realistically in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. She's like, I have ADHD. Also, she's like in way better shape than me. So I was like, girl, you're back. How'd you get it like that? Show me which machine you use. And she's like spilling all this stuff about her life. And I was just like, literally, I was like a light bulb. I was lighting up. I was like, this is what it's about. And then at the end, I was just like, I tried to encourage her and stuff because that's who I am.
You're a good person.
I'm a good person. And I was like, thank you for being you. I was like, this is so inspiring. Like, I love every second of it.
You're like, I love the fact that you just started crying. This is great. This is going to be great content.
I was like, this made my day. Look out for it. I gave her my card. I was like, you're gonna get a shout out on my podcast. Thank you, Loretta. No, I don't know her name, but that was the last time I saw someone lose it. And I was like, God, I need more of this in my life.
See, I have the exact opposite thing where like when people start losing it around me, like in multiple different ways, like if I see someone very happy and like that way, it's like, that's exciting. That's like the exciting time I see people losing it. And I'm like, I want to be involved. I want to be a part of this. Like at a concert, if I see someone excited because their DJ's going up, I'm like, this is great. But I will tell you, like, I am working on being better with empathy. Yeah. But one thing I can't do is, like, if someone starts crying at work or something, like, in a place where I'm just like, this is not where this should happen, I just walk away. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Go cry somewhere else in private like a normal person.
That's actually a good coping skill that you walk away, though.
I think so too, right? Because like I could just berate them and be like, see, this is why no one fucking likes you. Like, because you cry at work. You're so fucking annoying. And then I've also seen people lose it in like an angry way. Yeah. And that to me, I'm just like, I'll watch that. Yeah. That to me.
That's the car wreck.
Yeah, it's
you can't look away.
Yeah, I can't look away because I'm just like, are you gonna hurt yourself or someone? Because if so, there's like now an excitement in my heart.
You're like the type of person who's like, this is crazy.
Yeah, or I was at a bar in LA not that long ago, and there was a woman getting kicked out as we were coming in. But she like opened the bar windows by the high top I was sitting at, and she was like, I fucking hate everyone in here. You're all fucking garbage. You won't serve me. Blah, blah. And then she started shouting slurs, and I was like, I'm recording all of this. Oh my God.
And every night you watch it to fall asleep.
I actually just forgot about it till just now. I'll show you after the...
We'll link it to the pod.
Yeah, I should, honestly.
That's the only thing we don't have right now is slurs, so...
Yeah, and we need more of that.
We do.
What's your favorite slur?
Don't. No, stop it.
What's the word that you said before we got in here?
Oh my God, I didn't. Karen is kind of becoming a slur.
Oh, God, that's hardly a slur. Yeah.
I needed. I feel like there was a sign as we were driving home from family vacation, and there's a sign in, speaking of petty, this neighbor on the street that we were driving down had this huge sign. I mean, as big as this wall, maybe bigger, and it said, my next door neighbor is a Karen, and it had a sign pointing to the house next door.
Did you take a picture of it?
I didn't get a picture. It was too fast, but I was like, I want to know the story.
I actually really love that. I think, honestly, the one cool thing about Karens to me is it has risen to the place where, like, people are now calling out this, like, bad behavior that you see in society.
I think it's great.
And I think that that's so important. That's actually, like, fundamental to a healthy society is calling out bad behavior.
For sure.
Yeah.
And also, like, taking the time to not only design a sign, but go to Kinko's or, like, somewhere and get it printed.
Oh, so this was, like, a printed sign. This wasn't, like, a hand-painted sign.
They built a frame to put it on. It was... huge, okay? So I'm just like, yeah, we need more of that in our...
I love that shit, though. I love being petty.
It's good.
I do. I love it. Oh, my God. I fucking love it. I love being petty so much.
It makes the world go round.
It really does. And I will say, too, like, on the outside, like, if you know me, you know that about me, right? But,
Yeah.
like, there's also a bunch of stuff I do keep in.
Yeah.
Like, do you do
Richie
this?
wants to make sure people know, listen, I know this sounds bad, but I keep a lot of it in, too.
Okay, well, this is, like, a fun trick that I've started doing where, like, if I'm, like, hangry and I'm with my boyfriend and I finally eat, I'll be like, I just want you to know I was being really cool for the last 2 hours.
So gaslighting is what I hear you saying.
I mean, is that gaslighting? Is that gaslighting?
Just so you know, I wasn't mean to you when I called you a bitch.
Well, like, and like, it is usually like, I am keeping it cool though. Like I am, but I'm just like, I could have fucking lost it a couple of times back there.
Yeah.
I could have. Like, I'm encouraging everyone to start doing that. Because like, I'm tired of this, like, oh, you're doing so well. It's like, I fucking know that. Okay. I know.
Own
that.
it.
And
these are the affirmations.
I'm letting you know too that I was doing well. Okay.
You deserve it. Somebody get this guy a ribbon.
Yeah, someone get me a fucking cheeseburger. Okay.
A trophy.
Starving.
Oh my God, for sure. When I lose it the most, it's usually when I'm hungry. One time when my kids were little, because I try not to lose it around them. But I mean, after somebody telling you you're a bad mommy 300 times.
Your kids say
and
that
it's
to you?
only 6 a.m. Oh, all the time. Yeah.
You don't
They
hit
mean
your
it.
kids,
No,
right?
they don't mean it. I don't hit my kids. I don't. Every once in a while, if I get a little unregulated, I might pinch their butts a little too hard. And then they go, ow, ow. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Your butt's just so cute. But I try not to do that. Did your mom have something like that when you were a kid?
She did this thing. She always had long nails. And if I was like misbehaving in public, she would never hit me in public.
Yeah.
Because like, that's bad.
You can't.
Yeah.
Right? That's
But
a
like
home
my
thing.
mom would be like, give me your hand. And she would dig her nails into my hand. And then she'd be like, if you scream, you're going to get spanked when you get home. And so, yeah.
Parents need this. My mom would do the arm. She would grab the arm, and she had long nails too. Or she would grab the chin. And that was like.
I think that that's vile.
Yeah.
I don't like that
Yeah.
at all.
She's a great mom.
Yeah.
But she would use the tools that she had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We're all the better for it, to be honest.
I think that a little bit of discipline goes a long way.
Yeah, a little fear.
Yeah. I mean, like, looking back, I'm just like, yeah, should I have been hit every single time that I was spanked or hit? Probably not.
Right.
But did it help me? I guess so. I mean, I will say, I think I probably would have been better off if, like, my parents had, like, learned how to regulate their anger. I probably wouldn't have had so many, like, explosive episodes throughout, like, my 20s and into adulthood.
Because they're basically modeling that for you.
Yes, they're showing me, like, this is how you respond in times of stress and anger. Yeah. And it took me a really long time to unlearn until I went to group. I was like, this is not normal. You should not be having these explosive episodes, even in the comfort of your own home.
Right.
You know? Like, that's
like a sign. And that's what I've grown so much. Like, so the time that I was going to say that I lost it when my kids were little and it was like me completely dysregulated. They might not have even be doing anything wrong except for like being children, which is very loud. And I had a ketchup bottle in my hand and I threw it on the ground so hard. It was in my entryway. It exploded. It like, and it was like a movie. It was like slow motion, and it was like, and it literally exploded all over my ceiling, all over the walls, all over everything. And I was like, and you know, the second after you do that, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
That wasn't, now I have like a whole nother problem on my hands.
Do you get back down to reality when stuff like that happens?
Super fast.
Okay, I don't.
Super fast. I go, well, especially when the kids are there, because then I'm like, oh no, I dropped it. They were really little, so it wasn't like scary necessarily, but they're just like, what's happening? But now I was so proud of myself. Just last night, my son spanked me on the butt so hard. Like when I wasn't expecting it, it was like, bam. And I turned around, like, you know, because you're like instantly in fight mode at that point. I turned around and I go, that made me really mad. And I was like, you need to get out of my room right now. And I closed the door. And I was like, God, that's so healthy. I told him what my feeling was. I didn't show him. Mm-hmm. And then I took a second. And then I opened the door and I was like, listen, I was like, you can't do it that hard. That made me like really mad all of a sudden. And it was like, I was like, that's what I want from them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it's so important to teach children that, because I feel like, I don't know about you, that wasn't really a conversation that was had at my house as a kid growing up.
No.
Like, it was like it was more like out of fear.
Yeah.
It was like, if you act that way, there will be consequences.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's like, okay, you don't learn that like that's not how you deal with those emotions through fear. Yeah.
No, and I was just talking to this about this with one of my friends. I feel like every person's dad threw something. Like there's one point in your childhood where you remember specifically your dad throwing something in anger. Do you have one of those?
I don't know if he threw anything. He yelled a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like
we love our daddies.
I love my dad. I love my dad so much.
I'm sorry I said daddies too.
I was like, I'm not saying that. I'm not co-signing that one.
And you're like, I love my father. Yeah. And also like everybody throws things like, let's just normalize it. We're not like shitting on our dads.
I'm like trying to think if I've ever actually like thrown anything. I know I've like banged things. Yeah. Like,
oh, you've banged things.
Like, right? Very good at just laying there. But like, yeah, I do remember this, thinking that this was normal growing up, and an appropriate way to respond is my family on my dad's side had this really cool habit of punching holes in doors. And like,
I love that it's like a family thing.
Oh,
it's just like what we do.
All of my aunts and uncles, except maybe one aunt on my dad's side, have done it.
They have like frames all over the wall just to cover up all the holes.
Dude,
it's like a gallery wall.
It was weird.
Yeah,
I remember this one time, my dad, he tried to do it at our house, but he didn't know our garage door was made of metal. And he punched the door so hard that like his knuckles were swollen for days. Oh. And I thought about that a lot afterwards. I was like, he's so fucking stupid for that. And then I was like, oh, this probably isn't normal.
Right.
Yeah.
You just think it is when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I punched one hole in a wall one time, and my parents were like, you need to patch that up now.
Either you're very strong, your family is very strong, or your walls were very thin, because that hurts. That's hard to do.
I surprisingly am like, I can punch things and like, sure, it'll hurt, but I'm like, that's fine.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Go you.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're so strong. I know that's not what I'm supposed to be getting out of that story, but oh my God.
You're just like, wow, okay, if I'm trapped in a wall, Ricci can help me.
Okay, biceps. No, but I told my friend, I was like, hopefully my dad will co-sign this being okay, because everybody does it. But I remember in my childhood, one time my dad was trying to fix something, as 90 parents do. They like fixed everything. They never got rid of anything. And he was trying to fix a printer, and I remember him coming out and he just threw it on the ground, which probably felt so good. You know what I mean?
Feel good.
As kids, we were like, what's happening? But then I was telling my friend that, and she goes, oh yeah, one time my dad threw a lazy boy.
Oh my God.
I was like, is your dad a Hulk Hogan? Like, what is happening? Like, first of all,
it's like, are you safe? Get over here. Yeah.
Like the energy that took. I'm like, that's like when moms get the supernatural strength to lift like a car.
Yeah.
Like your dad had an angel with him. There's a lot of angel talk on this podcast.
There is a lot of angel talk, and we don't talk enough about the devil who's in my ear being like, call her a bitch. Like,
lift that lazy boy.
Yeah. Just tell him you never really liked him. Like, yeah, stuff like that. I feel like that's a lot of the back of my head talk is just like, no, don't say that. Don't be mean.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Look at you growing and filtering, and also not filtering sometimes because it's so magical for me.
I think also too, it's just like, I'm going to let everyone know I've been really cool the last 2 years with not saying some of the
really
stuff.
Cool the last hour of this podcast. He could have gotten real nasty, but he didn't.
I didn't. I omitted names. I omitted places of work, kind of. At Northwest Track and Field.
Northwest Track?
Yeah.
Our sponsor of the podcast, the Wolves, actually. It's not the Trek. It's the actual Wolves there are sponsoring this.
Yeah.
Shout out to
the Wolves.
They supplied the raw meat at the craft service table, which we appreciate. Okay, so we should, let's finish this with, what is your advice for somebody who is currently losing it right now? What's your advice?
Ugh, I have so many things on this. I think my biggest piece of advice for how to cope with like losing it is honestly trial and error. Try so many different things to regulate yourself.
Try losing it as many times as you can so you can practice.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get to this, but I'm sometimes like lately been on like the edge mentally, and I'm like just trying different shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what else are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do to get that dopamine rush, as long as it isn't illegal or hurting anyone. You know, like, do that. I do journaling still. I think that that's so important. Write down your thoughts, feelings, emotions. Do gratitudes. And that's kind of where I'm at with all of that. I'm just like, get my dopamine rush and then journal. That's like,
oh my God,
that's how I'm like trying to not cry. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's precious. It's giving Lana Del Rey.
That is my favorite. She's my favorite. She's my queen. She's my idol. I want to marry an alligator farmer now.
You should.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm trying to get my boyfriend to switch careers, but he's like, I'm a very well-to-do consultant. I'm like, we can have alligators.
Okay, I want him to get an alligator, and then instead of an alligator farmer, he becomes like one of those reptile people who comes to like children's schools. Yeah. I'm like, you're like, this isn't where I saw this going, but okay.
I guess this is fine. I guess you got the cool shorts now. That's fine.
Well, tell me where you're going to be next. What do you want to plug?
I will be doing my show that I co-host with Joe Dombrowski at, it's called My Straight Friends. I'll be doing it in December in Nashville, LA, Portland, and Seattle. I'll also be doing a special My Straight Friends at the Crocodile in January on January 5th. And then I will be doing a Ricci Armani and Friends in January on January 31st at Hereafter in Seattle.
So make sure you get tickets. You do not want to miss out on those. I'll be at Tacoma Comedy Club with Andrew Dismukes from SNL this weekend. And I'm headlining the Pomegranate in Redmond, Washington, January 16th.
Okay.
Ladies, I heard it's like a kind of a ladies' night, but everybody's included.
You and I are going on the road together.
Oh my God, we are.
Yeah.
February.
January. Oops. We're going on the road together January 25th in Washington.
Yeah, just look for our dates.
Just look for us, yeah.
I'll also be at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood December 8th.
I'm just going to miss
Chocolate
you.
Sundays.
I'm just going to miss you.
Yeah, I'll miss you too. So come see us, and until then, keep losing it, and keep losing it. Keep it together, but keep losing it, because it's bringing magic in the world.
Yeah. Break it apart and fall back together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We love who you are. Okay, bye.
Thank you for having me.